We'll continue with Halachot of Lashon Hara that we left off with. So today we'll begin the subsection of one may not speak Lashon Hara about. So we discussed who can't be the speaker. We discussed about who you may not speak to, and today we'll begin discussing who we're not allowed to speak about. The first category they bring down is spouse or in-laws. One may not speak Lashon Hara or Rechilut about one's spouse or in-laws. Many people stumble in this respect, thinking that it is acceptable to disparage them while speaking to relatives on his side of the family. This is obviously a very important halakha, which is why he begins with it. Just because you're married to them, just because they're your family, doesn't mean you're allowed to speak negatively about them, even to your side or their side as well. It's a very important halakha. Chafetz Chaim brings that this is a classic case of Lashon Hara, and is prohibited unless there's a toilet involved. Even then, one must be very careful not to add any falsehood. We'll see that in regards to halachot of toilet. So with our spouse, our in-laws, our family, it applies as much as it applies to strangers as well. We can't speak negatively about our spouse or in-laws as well. Now, the second category is a child. There's a lot of halachot that pertains to a child. So we'll begin that today, and we'll continue to begin that tomorrow, B'ezrat Hashem. A minor is a full-fledged member of Klal Yisrael and is included in Amecha. Meaning we discussed the source of the mitzvah is Lo telech rachil be'amecha. Don't walk and be a slander, a peddler amongst your nation. Anyone who qualifies in amecha, we have an obligation to not speak Lashon Hara about. So the Chafetz Chaim writes that a child, a minor, is included in amecha. He's part of your nation. Just because he's a kid, still doesn't remove him from amecha. He's part of our nation, and therefore it is therefore prohibited to speak Lashon Hara about a child if it could hurt or damage him. So that's the emphasis that the Chafetz Chaim makes about a child. Generally, we'll see it right now, but I'll say it out loud first. Generally, Lashon Hara is asur if it's just derogatory. If it doesn't necessarily need to be able to hurt the individual. We'll see now the Achronim understand from the Chafetz Chaim that when speaking negatively about a child, it falls under Lashon Hara when it can cause him harm. We'll see a few examples, and it'll make more sense. The Chafetz Chaim states that if one brings up the faults and misdeeds of an orphan who is being raised by another family to his host family, it could result in them sending him away from their home, which would constitute a major blow to his welfare. The same is true regarding a child who is not an orphan. If he will suffer in any way as a result of a person's Lashon Hara, it is prohibited. So that Chafetz Chaim brings the example of an orphan because the orphan is the clearest, most black and white example of when you can say something about a child and it can really affect him because he has no family to protect him. But the idea is it must cause them harm. It must cause the child harm. We'll give one more example and wrap up for today. The aspect of Lashon Hara that prohibits denigrating another person, even if it will not cause him damage, generally does not apply to a minor. So we spoke about this earlier. Lashon Hara about adults doesn't need to cause them damage. They don't have to lose money or lose a customer or get hurt personally. It doesn't need, even if the guy doesn't care. If it's derogatory, it's Lashon Hara. By the children, Chafetz Chaim says that clause doesn't apply. However, since he is not responsible for his actions, if one then puts him down, it is not considered derogatory. It's not if he speaks negatively about him. It's not derogatory because the child is a child. In halakha, we don't hold him to his actions. The Chafetz Chaim therefore focuses on whether Lashon Hara will cause the child harm, if Lashon Hara will damage him or cause him pain or embarrassment, or if one wishes to relate some evil that a child committed, which will hurt his reputation and follow him into adulthood, then it will be asur. So this is an important clarification about children. We'll continue this halachot B'ezrat Hashem tomorrow. Have a wonderful day.